This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
G'day, Shaun McManus here. On February 24, I'm doing my first ever solo swim in this year's Rotto swim. It's a 19.7k open water swim from Cop Beach to Rottnest Island. That's, of course, if you go on a straight line. This is my road to Rottnest.
Welcome to Shaun's swim prep. Shall we?
Hey, Ross.
Nice. So, firstly, you're doing the Rotto swim coming up. Before we get to Hell Week, which I want to know a lot about.
Yep.
Have you done the Rotto swim before?
I've done the Rotto swim. I think I've done it 3 times in a team, and I've done it 3 times swimming to Rottnest, that is, with the Port to Pub.
Yep.
So that's a different event. It's the same thing, which is swimming to Rottnest and swimming 20k. So I've done them in events, and I can honestly say every time I've swum there, I thought, I would never swim this solo.
Yeah. So this is the first solo.
Yeah.
Is it like exponentially harder solo? Well, I guess you haven't done it yet, but the
preparation is so much more. Whilst I said I would never swim to Rottnest, I've always wanted to be able to do that and say that I was capable of doing it. I think when you get older, you're always searching to test yourself, I reckon. I need to find something where I can test myself to see if I've, A, got lazy, or, number one, have I still got it?
Yeah.
Am I strong enough mentally? Am I strong enough physically? Can I prepare over a long period of time, and can I stay disciplined enough over a period of time?
And you think having that goal and something to drive you towards, and this is it at the moment. So, like, obviously, this sounds very like your football captaincy or being like football mindset where you got like a big goal and you're just going to drive and get it. Does that come into play at all?
Yeah, I reckon. The other thing is, so in footy, obviously that was my job. 15 years I pretty much did it for, and every day I turned up and it was on, and every day it got to a point in a training session or a running session or doing weights where you thought, I can't go any further, and somehow you were able to go further, right? I haven't felt that in 15 years since I haven't stopped playing. So I really wanted to see if I am still capable of being able to step up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've spoken to a few groups, I reckon recently, and I've said that I'd like to do the Rotto swim. I never committed to doing it, and this year I committed, but all the while I was actually looking for an out for months, Ross. Yeah.
And so you're all in. We're about to, as I said, I want to get into Hell Week in a sec.
Yep.
But before we get into Hell Week, which is an intensive training week, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Hence the name.
Yes.
What have you done in the lead up? So let's roll it back to when did you start training for the Rotto swim? What's it, Feb 24? Or?
Yes, Feb 24. So last year, people were telling me that you got to swim through winter, and I kept swimming through winter even on those crappy days. I only was going 2, maybe 3 days, but probably 2 days a week. I was just going to the pool at Claremont.
How far did you start?
Probably just swimming 2Ks in different increments. And in the back of my mind, hoping that I'd find myself under pressure to commit to doing the Rottnest swim. Or bullied into doing it. That was probably the right word.
Yeah.
So I kept going, and then it got to a point in September where I probably upped it to 3 times a week. And then I was walking past my swim coach that I'm part of her squad, Kynwyn Roberts, said to her, hey, Kynie, I wouldn't mind talking to you about doing a solo. And that took a lot for me to say that.
Yeah, so that's like you're making it real then.
Yeah. And then she went, oh my God, that's fantastic. And then she goes, I got to go, I'll speak to you later. Anyway, I just swam, and I don't know what I did, 1.5 to 2Ks in the pool, got out. By the time I looked at my phone, she'd already put me in a WhatsApp group that said Solo 2024. And it said, welcome Shaun to the group, blah, 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 blah. He's going to do his first solo. And I was
just
like,
casually mentioned it. Boom.
Yeah. And then from then on, I thought, oh, Jesus, I've got to start turning up. So I started turning up to training more regularly, mainly Tuesdays and Thursdays with that group, swimming another day. And then I had to start swimming on a Saturday, which was hardcore.
Yep, so that's up to 4 days a week. You go from 3 to 4.
Yeah, 3 to 4, and then it became 4 to 5, and pretty hectic.
What changed from, I'm not sure if I can do it, I'm looking for outs, to, you know what, I'm all in?
I think I knew wholeheartedly you just got to keep turning up. And I've still got some negative self-talk going on about can I make the distance and all that kind of stuff. And I know so many people have done it, right? I know that. And there's people I look out and I go, how the hell do they do it? Well, I should be able to do it. But until you've done it and been under the pressure, felt like what it feels like to be at 16 Ks in, and your body just says, no, or your mind says no, I don't know. But I just knew that I just had to keep turning up, even with the negative self-talk. If I keep turning up, I'll just keep going forward. And then there was a few occasions where I got strength from the discipline of it all. I started getting some strength from the discipline.
Like a routine, you're doing so chipping away little bits, and does it become like the habit forms and you're doing it no matter what? You're doing the training no matter what?
That's what happened a couple of times when I was out in the Terps, and particularly through the Christmas period, I just made myself get up, and I'm feeling sorry for myself, and I got in the pool, sculled obviously a Powerade, try to get some electrolytes, and then just started swimming right in these groups. And about 3/4 of the way through, I'm getting cramped like you wouldn't believe. I'm so dehydrated.
You're not getting on the Terps the night before, I'm assuming.
No. I've stopped drinking. I haven't been drinking much at all actually this whole year. Over that Christmas period, I was always drinking mid-strength, and I was just trying to get through a couple of sneaky ones. Even at our Christmas parties and stuff, 1 or 2 beers here and there.
You're way more well-behaved this year.
Much more
Usually you could be sometimes best on ground or pretty close to it. There was 1 year especially, but that's...
I can be, but I've really dialed into the discipline of it all.
Yep.
And as much as I hate it at times, it gives me a backbone to be able to spring forward. And I know that. And from all my years in the footy days, I know that for me to be able to get to, start line or the onto the field, I need to be locked in and I need to do everything properly.
Yep.
The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Funnily enough, when I was in Rotto about, it was the second week of December, I was having a beer at the pub with this guy after I'd finished. I finished it, and once I'd finished, I'd swum it in 2 hours and 56 minutes, which is quite a solid time.
Yep.
I thought, holy shit, I've just done that.
So wait, you've done 10Ks, but before any of this, what was the maximum you swam?
Maybe last year I probably got to about 2.3, was a big session for me.
And you're doing 5 times more just to qualify?
Yeah.
And then you do the double. So, you would have surprised yourself already with that.
Yeah, I got out and I was exhausted, but I was really wrapped with the way I did it.
What have you found that's helpful during that long period where your brain might be saying, just give up? What pushes you to keep going every stroke for 10,000 more?
There was a couple of things that I kept talking to I change all the time, so I listened to some stuff, some people who are really positive, and some other people, like a guy called David Goggins. You would have followed him.
Goggins.
So
you'd love him.
Shut the fuck up and be a hard prick.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, get on with it.
Yeah.
Stop being piss sweet.
Yeah.
I was doing some swimming training with another coach who's out of Claremont, Paul Newscombe. He said, because you've come from footy and stuff like that, you need to change your body into being a diesel engine. Mm-hmm. And he pointed to this group of people that I get to swim with maybe once a week. They're absolutely lovely people. And they're, it's fair to say they're above 50, I would think, in age. But they are machines. Mm-hmm. And they don't really go in events and stuff. They just do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday all together and to do it as a group. And he kept saying, look at these guys, they're like diesels, right? So when I was under pressure, I was just thinking, he's got to be a diesel, you've got to be a diesel.
And what's the diesel, just chugging along? Is that what?
Just chugging along, just keep going no matter what.
Yep.
And then another thing he said to me also was keep tapping away. Mm-hmm. And that's just getting the arms over. Mm-hmm. And then I also had Kynwyn, who I train with, and on one of her post to the groups was, and I've seen this before, when you think you're fucked, you're only 40% fucked.
That sounds like a Goggins. I think Goggins says something similar as well, but okay. Yeah. So you just keep pushing. You think you're cooked, but if you just keep pushing, you'll be surprised how far you can go. Yeah,
because there's the ups and downs of it. I was swimming yesterday, Leighton Beach, and I started off, and for the first, 500 metres, I was going along okay. And then I kept swimming, and then I was like, I'm going nowhere. And I'm looking at the land along Leighton, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to get to we're going up to basically South Cottesloe. And I was thinking, I'm not going anywhere. And then I was like, what are you doing? Get out of the water.
If you don't feel like you're progressing, that would suck out the motivation pretty quick.
Eventually I got to pass this overwalk that probably comes from Stirling Highway and as a landmark. And then I felt okay, and then I started swimming a bit more, and then I could see another landmark, which is this top car park, and I thought, okay, now I'm around this corner part. And then I started swimming all the mental demons went.
Yeah.
And then we swam down, and off we went. And we got out, and we had a drink. at this spot because they wanted to make sure you were hydrated. And then I got back in and I was with a couple of people that I outswum, and I was out by myself. And then I was in no man's land and I felt like I was sinking. Again, I was by myself. I found no rhythm. Every stroke I was like, what are you doing again? Oh, mate, it was so shocking.
It's nice to hear that, like, I think of you as a weapon. I've seen you without your shirt on, and obviously the Dockers history and all that kind of stuff and the amount of exercise you do. If you have those thoughts, that makes me feel so much better because us normies, we have these as well. So it's really good to hear that you also question yourself.
Yeah, I reckon I do it more so when I'm alone. There's times I can remember running by myself, and after a while, you know, it might started raining. And if I can get into that mindset where, again, like the David Goggins, who else is doing this shit?
Yeah.
I'm a mad dog. I'm going to keep going.
That's the type of voice I expect you to have. Like, you are a mad dog, Shaun. You got this. You smashed this.
But in swimming, when I've been alone, I felt like I've dropped off. So on reflection, like all day yesterday, I was at my mum and dad's for dinner, and I was just like questioning, I've got to get harder. I've got to get fucking tougher.
You push yourself hard.
But I've got to be harder.
All this stuff is showing the importance of preparation, not only physically, but it's also mentally conditioning you for obviously the swim. I just want to touch on Hell Week, and I think maybe we can do this day by day, because you've been calling it Hell Week, so maybe just give us a brief description of what Hell Week is, and let's nail down day one, which you've done.
Yes.
Yep, and then we'll hit the next days as they come.
Okay, so Hell Week started today. It's 6 days, and we get Sunday off this week. So it starts off with 5Ks of swimming today, which I've done this morning at at Bold Park.
And I have seen you at Bold Park, by the way. I'm just swimming with the kids, and their big rig walks past.
So this is what we did today. So it was 800 metres warm-up, and, that was just doing freestyle. You can do some breaststroke laps or whatever, but 800 metres, I mean, it's a bit boring there. Sometimes it's hard to get into. And then it was 4 times 400 metres, and you do that with flippers on, and you do some kicking, some breathing techniques, and some high elbow, like technique stuff.
Okay, 1,200 metres now, so 1.2.
And then after that, you do, I think it was 400 metres of another skill drill, and then freestyle. So like 25 metres of a skill, and then 175 of freestyle, and then you start the skill drill again, 175, and it ends up being 200 metres. And then there was 8 200s. It was broken up into 2 lots of 4 for 8 200s, and then you had to do 800 metres with a band around your legs, so you can't kick your legs, but you have a pull buoy in, and you have these paddles, shields on your hands, so you can get some power. They're really good for your shoulders. So we did 2 lots of 400s of those, and then there was 200 metres of wearing flippers and swimming as far as you can underwater, and then coming out of that and then swimming to the end. Yeah, every lap you're going as far as you can underwater. It's amazing, when you just do a one-off underwater, you can swim pretty far. But if you do underwater, come out swimming, and you get to the other end and try to do underwater, you get small. I mean, you can hardly go a couple of metres underwater.
You'd be cooked, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely cooked. So anyway, it was 5Ks all up today, Ross.
5Ks, how long did that take?
I think that took well over an hour and a half, I think.
And you seem...
Today.
How'd you pull up after it?
I'm okay today. Tomorrow I know will be a lot harder. It's still 5Ks, it'll be broken up into more sprints. So that will be a bit of a mental game, and we will power on as the week goes on. I'll tell you every day from here on in.
Shaun Swim Prep, day one.
Roscoe, good on you.
Thanks, brother.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.